So, hello, welcome back. I hope you had a good time with your plant on your first phase of your little four-part journey. I didn't mention at the end of the video that you should now take notes. Probably, I mean, I did say that in the first video or in the preparation video, but you need to take notes now. Okay, so just write down, if you didn't already do that, sit down now, just pause this video quickly and write a few notes about your experience. Okay, that will be useful for you later on. As I said, don't take notes during the exercise, but afterwards always sit down and take notes. Okay, so this next section also, I want to do a bit of German with you. It's always useful, I think, to get the just exactly what Goethe was going for right. This one is called Exakte sinnliche Fantasie, which translates pretty much word for word. That's a nice thing about the English and German. You've got a lot of words the same. So this means exact sensorial fantasy. All right. However, even though I've got a little quibble with the word fantasy, because that's the as I say, exact sensorial fantasy is what people usually call it. Okay, because it just translates literally. That's what you see in books and stuff. But I actually have a little quibble because fantasy in the German has it has a certain connotation of imagination, whereas fantasy is sort of unreal stuff, really. So in English. So I think exact sensorial imagination would be a much better translation, modestly. As I say, I'm not a historian or a Goethe expert or heaven forbid, an academic. Anyway, sorry, must get on. Now then, so that's my title for this section is exact sensorial imagination. Okay, and what we're going to do, what you've done so far is you've studied the phenomenon as it is. Okay, that's what you did in the first section. Okay, so far. Now we're going to add the element of time. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to go back in time and with using your imagination and your observation and see how this plant arrived at its present state. Okay, so with time and phenomenon and time you're starting to work with the metamorphosis, the transformation that this plant has undergone, right from the seedling when it grew out, and you'll have to imagine because you won't be able to see anymore. But even things that happened last week, you probably can see how this plant sort of developed. Okay, so you're using your imagination. Oh, and you go into the future as well. So you do two things. You go back in time, and you start to observe how the plant arrived at its current form, okay, natural form, and you're going to go into the future and see how it will continue to grow in the future. Okay, so you're really freeing up your imagination there. Now, what Goethe is doing here, he's using the imagination as if it was a legitimate scientific tool. Okay, he's taking it very seriously. He's not just using the sort of traditional methods of scientific measurement and so forth. So you're using the imagination as a legitimate scientific tool. Go into the past, go beyond the present day, and see where it's going, how it's going to develop, how it's going to grow into the future. And what you might do after you've done that, you may even do a sort of advanced version of that, where you're actually observing. You're imagining what it might be otherwise. You could change something. Okay, you could do variations of what. First of all, you're working within what is possible for this plant, past, future, and then you go into maybe what is beyond possible. Maybe with a very big. What if this flower was a very bulbous flower, say, or something? Okay, rather than a thin one. So you may do a little bit of that imagination at the end of this. So what you'll see if you manage to get all that going, which you will, you'll see the plant as an expression of this current plant. It will be more than just a plant. It'll as it is, as phenomenon as it is. It'll be an expression of the process of its transformation as it moves through time. Okay, an expression of the process of its transformation as it moves through time. Okay, so you're ready to go. Let me just recap that for you. Exercise stage 2 is observe the plant in time as part of an ongoing metamorphosis. Okay. Picture how it grew to its present form. Picture how it will grow into the future, and perhaps afterwards you might even imagine the plant otherwise, variations. Okay, so again, you can leave this on the screen if you want, and pause the video, and see you next video. Okay.